Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer. Right over there on that side is John. He is our resident millennial. The reason why there's a generational gap in the first place. John,
Right.
how are you and your beard doing this evening?
We're doing excellent. Thank you for asking. Thank you for including the beard too as a separate entity because it certainly is. It has a mind of its own.
I was sitting here looking at it, and for some reason, it sparked memories of the original Planet of the Apes movie with Charlton Heston, and
Hmm.
the humans that were running about in the uh, vegetable fields, being chased by
Yeah.
the Indians. That beard triggered that memory.
Yeah. Funny. Well, funny you say that because I'm actually going to be in a play. That is the Planet of the Apes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm not an actor. No way.
I thought you
No
were going to
way.
tell us something serious. All right, so now that
Why
we
would you think that?
What was I thinking? We were on a serious show
Right.
or something. Hey, before we get too deep in this, folks, if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button, and if you haven't already, hit the
Yes.
subscribe button. Get out there and let everybody know that we're on here. We're broadcasting live, and we're having a good time. John, we have got some upcoming events. Let's go ahead and get those
Oh yeah.
announcements out of the way, if you do not mind.
Yes, I will. I will do it. I do not mind, in fact. We have coming up on Halloween night, we have our live stream for charity, 3 hour live stream for St. Jude's. Once again, we're going to work with them and, give them some money. And we'll be doing all kinds of spooky Halloween themed stuff. So make sure you check that out and donate to St. Jude's. That'll be awesome and a lot of fun. We may or may not have a special guest or two during that time, so we'll have to. We haven't locked it all down yet, so but we'll figure it out.
Oh, I think
And then Friday, December 6th, we have our 12-hour live stream.
12 hours.
12 hours for Toys for Tots, so that we can get some toys to some needy kids who may not otherwise get any for Christmas. So I think that's very important. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to get our regular crew together, and then hopefully some other people that we've had on the show before, and we're going to reach out to some other people, this sort of thing. Maybe we'll have a couple debates planned. Um, I know one person who already kind of said they wanted to, so that'll be good. So make sure you check that out and help support some needy kids. And also,
Awesome.
yes, also next Sunday, I'm not sure if it's going to be filmed or not. We haven't talked about it off the air, but Robert said that he might be able to. Anna Voltis and I are going to be having a HEMA bout. We're going to be sword fighting and such in a local park here in Orlando. And so if we can get that on film, we most certainly will put it up on the site, on the channel, not the site, the channel. And I've got, he put up a video actually earlier today saying that he's been, doing a little bit of training and such. So I just want to say, that's nice, that's cute that you're trying to do some training beforehand. But you're gonna need a hell of a lot more than just a little bit of training, because I am going to be coming at you with this. This is going to be your doom, Anavoltus. This weapon right here will be the end of you. I'm going to wrench your soul from your body and send it to the shadow realm where it belongs, from whence it will never emerge again. Keep that in mind. Hopefully we'll be able to film it. It'd be pretty sweet.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a WWE match now.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a promo, but it was kind of a low energy promo. But the words, they're the meaning. Meaning got across.
So I need to practice my "Let's get ready to rumble." Let's
Yes,
get
that'll be
ready
awesome.
to rumble. How's that? Is that a little bit of work, but that's not too bad, right?
It's not too bad. Yeah.
All right. Hey, one other thing, folks. If you look down there in that handy dandy description, now on Freedom Scoop, the Generational Gap has merch available. We have the
Yes.
Generational Gap t-shirt available for purchase. If you look down in the description, you'll see a wonderful coupon code, GenGap, that you can plug in into your cart, and it'll knock 15% off the price, and you can have your very own Gen Gap t-shirt. I recommend it. Get one. Everybody's doing it. I've done it.
Everybody.
I've done it.
I've done it.
Mine's coming.
So all the cool guys have done it.
Right?
So what's wrong with you? You don't want to be a cool guy? Is that what it
Right.
is?
Who
You
would
just don't
not
wanna be cool?
want
I
to
mean-
be like us?
Right.
It's just foolish.
We're pretty fucking awesome.
Hey, we got Stephen Ignoramus in the chat, John. I like
Yes.
that guy. I'm going to get that guy to be on our Halloween stream.
No
In
way.
fact, I'm going to attempt to get all the Freedom Scoop guys on our Halloween stream.
No way.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And you know, I've heard a rumor. There's a good chance that we might be on Steven's stream before that.
What?
Shh! Don't tell anybody.
All right.
It's a secret.
I
For
won't
God's
tell
sake,
anyone.
don't tell Steve. Hey,
Steven's
Steve.
asking what time is
We're
it's gonna be?
planning on running that. We thought the best 3-hour slot so that we can click into end up into the witching hour is to take it from say 9 o'clock to right at midnight. So just kind of move, you know, run the show right into the witching hour that night, and then end it on a spooky note. Spooky. It's scary, John. I don't know if I can handle
Steven
all
said
the
he's gonna
stuff.
be there. Oh yeah. Steven's gonna be
It's
there.
got me scared, John. Whenever I think
know, I'm
about
already
it,
freaked out,
when I
too.
think about it, I get goosebumps
I mean, look,
and I shiver a little.
look, I'm shaking. Oh my god.
I do.
Super excited.
I've got goosebumps when I think about the Ouija board. There's so many vowels in that word, John. It's
There are
scary.
a lot of vowels in that word. It's true.
Right?
They're all vowels
It's
except
like,
for one, aren't
right?
they? Yeah.
Almost all of them
They're all
are in
vowels.
there, and it's like, you know, I know it's funny. Whenever I was younger, you know, when I was just starting to explore into the multi-facets of
The occult.
the language, actually, our language.
You're
I would see
devil
Ouija, and
worshipping.
I'm like, how do you pronounce all of those vowels in that word? And I was like, Ouija, because I had not heard it. I had just seen the word. So I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce it myself, and I'm like, okay, Ouija, trying to figure out the phonetics of it. It was, you know, all this was going on in my head. I didn't screw my life up and go into mental home because I was saying that shit. But
yeah.
hey, I'm just saying, if you're not, I don't know what language that's from, but
I don't know. Might
So,
be French, but who knows?
John, I was thinking one other thing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it's in that box right over there, I do also have my Aleister Crowley tarot deck, the Thoth deck. And maybe we'll do a little impromptu reading for you.
Oh, is that like a tarot card reading?
Yeah, that's what I said, a tarot deck.
Oh, I thought you said like Toth. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck is
Thoth.
Toth? I don't know.
It was Thoth. Thoth.
Thoth.
It's
Like
Aleister.
an ancient thought.
Aleister. Are you familiar with Aleister Crowley?
Of course, yeah.
Right. So he had had a deck of tarot cards done for him, and so it's the Aleister Crowley deck. Well, it wasn't. So he had them made for him. And then it was reproduced later on. People were like, "Oh, this is the deck that Aleister Crowley, the same art and everything."
That's cool as fuck. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll have a tarot card reading. I mean, it's a parlor trick, obviously, but it'll be fun.
It is, but boy, I tell you, when you walk away from one, you can walk away from it with, you know, you're thinking of in your mind, because it's, you know. Now, I'm not like a professional tarot card reader who can, you know, wrap it all into your history and all of this, but, you know, that's the thing, is like, you really, at some point while you're having it done, you start to correlate things that are being said that the cards are producing with the things that are going on in your life, which is an easy thing for most anybody to do, no matter what cards are being turned up, right? That's the trick to it. When you're talking about the people that pull wool over eyes doing the tarot readings, but for other people, you know, it's like I know, you know, a lot of spiritualists or uh, what's the other word I'm looking for? Occultists will use the deck, like get up in the morning and they'll find out what their day is going to be like. They'll turn over 3 random cards and it gives them an idea. They can read their day. And it's, not necessarily that that's telling their fortune for
No,
the
but it
day.
puts them in the mindset to have
Right,
that kind of
right.
day.
They get to
Yeah.
create a mindset. It's kind of like the people that sit and read
something to that,
mantras in the morning. Huh?
Right. Yeah, something to that where you can put yourself in a certain mindset.
Yeah.
Even if you wake up grouchy or something, you're like, oh, it's going to be a good day. Okay, whatever's going to happen. And then you just act as though that's going to happen. And,
See,
it may or may not, but it'll at least lift your mood,
See, I never wake up grouchy. I always let her sleep in.
I like it.
All right,
That's a good one.
so that's an old one. I dusted that one off to bring it out.
Oh, you know what? When I fucking hate it was only because it was said so many times when I was working at the gas station a few years ago, and every time I'd be like, "Oh, would you like a bag?" And they'll be like, "No, thanks, she's at home," and shit like that. It was kind of funny the first time, but when anyone over about 40 years old said it, I was like, "All right, yeah, hilarious, great."
And the whole point that everybody who gave you product and had you leave their store with a bag was saying it, right?
Yeah,
Anybody that had bags would say it. All right, hey John, this has been an interesting week in the news. There's been some weird things. I'm going to say some weird things have happened. Weird or oddities, right? You're familiar with what I'm talking about.
I suppose.
But I want to get your take on something. I thought this was interesting, and understand that I've pretty much, I know, right? I know what the cause of this was pretty well in my heart of hearts. But apparently on the 28th of September this year, off the Outer Banks off of North Carolina, they are on a boat, a ferry, and this guy posts this video. So I'm gonna show this video, and I want you to watch it and tell me what you think, John. Hopefully the volume won't be too bad. I think I've got it set good. Let me make sure that we're looking big and pretty with the video, or should I full screen it? I don't need to full screen it. You're right. I don't have to do that. I can just blow it up a little bit, and maybe that'll help with everything, right? All right. So anyway, this guy posts this video.
In the sky at all. Then all of a sudden, bam! What is that? Anybody tell me what that is? We're in the middle of the ocean on a ferry.
Oh shit!
Now there's 14 of these lighted objects in the sky off in the distance. I've got it paused so you can see them. There's 14 of them out there. Now, real quick, Cameron, I expect both of you to grace historic Sanford with your presence next Saturday for Oktoberfest celebration as your obligation as drinkers. Did he really just say that to me?
Yeah, Robert is not a drinker, so I'm not sure why you would direct that towards him, but I will most likely be there. Most likely.
I might show up. But I feel no obligation as a drinker. My extent of drinking is I'm usually one and done, two and done. That's usually me. I don't
boring.
I don't like people who are drunk, and I don't like being drunk. It's just a thing with me. Alcoholics will do that to you.
Yeah. Speaking of that, cheers.
Yeah. So, John.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you see there?
I see a bunch of lights. I mean, I like to think that it's aliens, just because I would love for that to be the case. However, the skeptic in me demands that I try and debunk it first, and then once all other explanations are, don't satisfy, then that's what you go with. But
well, the suggestion is
there's so many videos like this out there that I don't know.
Well, this one. So the suggestion is, and bear in mind, he panned across, right and left. He showed the ocean where they're at. There's nothing out there. So I was looking, trying to see if there were any other ships. But someone has suggested that this is the kind of thing that they'll do for military exercises. Those are targets that are up in the air, lit and up in the air. But I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the question is, would there, like if this was a Navy exercise, you would kind of expect to see boats out there, or knowing how long that they're out there, they would see planes eventually flying through, right? Something to that extent.
A couple of things for that. One, the Navy ship or ships could be over the horizon, right? And secondly, it might not be an aerial, I guess, practice.
Right.
It could be, the ship-based weaponry firing at the targets. The Aegis system could be the one that they're testing, where they can just track all these different targets and fire at them. Set a gun to fire at each one.
Well, now
it's pretty impressive stuff, actually. But that certainly could be that. I don't know where they are. I don't know.
They're off. They're in the Outer Bank of North Carolina.
Is there a base over there? There's one in Virginia. So
I know North Carolina. North Carolina's got a base. It's got military.
A Navy base. Yeah, a military one. They've got Camp Lejeune for the Marines. I don't know if they have a naval base though. I don't know if that is a naval base or not. It might be. I honestly don't know that much about it.
So they're crossing the Pamlico Sound from Ocracoke Island to Swan Quarter on the mainland. He said the lights appeared for at least a minute and a half. But it's a large body of water separates the Outer Banks from mainland North Carolina. I'm trying to see. Okay, so they have Camp Lejeune and Fort Bragg in eastern North Carolina. So that it's plausible that they were flares used by the military. But the question, again, the whole point to me asking is, at some point, wouldn't they have seen, I don't know, those being sent up, something in the time that they were out there, because they were only in the air for like a minute and a half.
It's a 30-second video. That's all we have.
Sure. But he went on. I guess he went on YouTube. He posted some commentary on YouTube, and said that the lights were in the sky for about a minute and a half.
But now it's just hearsay.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But the whole point of what I was saying is, you would think that while they were out there on the water, they would have seen something besides just the lights. Now, the next question I would have for you, since you know a little bit about naval military stuff, they have ways of, like, if those were targets, they could target those like dry fire, right? So they could use those as targets and not even have to shoot dummy shells. They could just fake the shooting, and then the computer will tell them, yes, that was a dead-on hit, no, you missed, that kind of thing, to where you wouldn't even have to have anything going on out in the water except for the flares up there as targets.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, obviously, I've never experienced it, but, very well could be. The technology definitely exists.
I just want to say that anytime you see 14 lights up in the sky like that,
aliens.
It is an interesting thing. It's certainly something that I'm always willing to hear an explanation for.
Yeah.
But these kind, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the military, that's the fail-safe the government's always got for anything alien. They can always lay it to the military. They've got bullshit stuff that they've never even produced, but they could pull out a blueprint and go, oh, it was this thing. We're trying it out. It didn't work very well, so scrap.
Well, I mean, let's look at it from the aliens' perspective then, if it is aliens. Why the lights? Why use lights? Exterior lights at all?
Well, I mean, think about it like this. It could just simply be a lower point power field, like maybe a power field that generates some sort of light as it creates its, if it's, maybe it's a magnetic base, or it's some sort of propulsion system that keeps them leveled off and stationary in the sky. I mean, it's not implausible to see lighting on a vehicle, whether it be...
No, it's not implausible to see it, but for what reason, right? Like, they don't need landing lights, probably. right? They don't need.
Maybe they
you know,
want to be seen.
Maybe, but then they would just come down and be like, "Hey guys, we're here.
No, maybe that
We're clear. Get
seen,
used to it."
being seen and
Yeah.
being heard are two different things, John. It's like, all right, we'll let them see us, but we don't want to talk to
Well,
those fuckers because they're
If
crazy.
they really wanted to be seen, they could just go find Dan Aykroyd and appear to him again.
Right? Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there. This was one of those interesting things that popped up in the old news feed. So convenience store clerks end up hating people. You weren't even supposed to be there that day.
It's a good Clerks reference, dude.
Yeah, excellent show.
Did I ever mention that Kevin Hart liked one of our tweets? It was awesome. Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
Kevin
I
Smith
remember
did.
that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I still have the screenshot on my phone. I was so happy. Senpai noticed me.
Okay, so
Awesome.
if I would assume that if aliens have been studying us, they have figured out that we are idiots. So much so, the idiocy. It's gotten to the point where I can't even tell if it's real idiocy or not. But I am going to put it. Show this little video. This is interesting. It's town hall in New York City. And they're talking about climate change, right, John? Green New Deal, New Green Deal. What is it? New Green or Green New Deal? Green New Deal. Got it. And being a town hall, the folks in the audience get to stand up and participate. And sometimes, John, participation is a lot more fun than you think.
Yes.
There's a woman in the audience who has a very interesting suggestion for handling some of the issues that we are facing with our climate and the responses to it. And I'll just leave it at that and let it speak for itself.
All right.
Because of the climate crisis, we only have a few months left. I love that you support the Green Deal, but it's not getting rid of fossil fuel. It's not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, we can eat dead people, but that's not fast enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time. There's too much CO2. All of you, you're a pollutant. Too much CO2. We have to start now, please. You are so great. I'm so happy that you're really supporting the Green Deal, but it's not enough. Even if we would bomb Russia, we still have too many people.
People in the audience are my favorite.
So we have to get rid of the babies. That's a big problem. Just stopping having babies is not enough. We need to eat the babies, and this is very serious. Please give a response.
Thank you. We'll go ahead.
Okay.
No, we'll go ahead. No.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no. Thank you.
Man.
So I think, So one of the things that's very important to us is that we need to treat the climate crisis with the urgency that it does present. Luckily, we have more than a few months. We do need to hit net zero in several years. But I think we all need to understand that there are a lot of solutions that we have and that we can pursue, and that if we act in a positive way, there's space for hope. There's
space for hope, John. As long as we eat the children. We must eat the babies. We have to eat the babies, John.
Oh, man.
Wow, talk about really just wanting to get your face out there, right? Just wanting to roast this bitch, right? Who wanted to roast AOC?
Yeah.
I love the shirt. How long do you think it'll be till you see that shirt out in public, John?
I'll buy one. I'll buy one.
Save the planet, eat the children.
That's right.
Oh my God!
They keep talking about eat the rich, but there's not nearly enough rich. We need to eat the children. There's lots of them. They're all over the damn place. You ever seen them? God damn.
Yeah.
Plus, I heard they go down good with mustard. So.
Yeah, this was posted up on Discord earlier today, and my first thought, and which I posted, you shouldn't tell an old man with a 2-year-old and a working grill that it's time to eat the babies.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
my
They haven't had time
Alzheimer's,
to toughen up too much, you know.
my Alzheimer's could kick in at any moment. I thought she was a turkey. Right? What do you want?
Oh, Anna Walters decided to show his face
Destroy the
in the
child. Corrupt
chat
them
there.
all. No, you can't destroy the
Right.
child. You must eat the child.
No, instead we destroy the Anna Walters with a sword.
Oh my God, let it go. Can you put your testosterone away, please?
No.
You boys and your
gonna-
swords. It's
I'm gonna
so
show him again.
so silly.
Anna Walters, this is your doom right here. Here it is. You can see it. This is going in your ass, Anna Walters.
I knew it was a dildo.
See
I thought it was. I know you got it dressed up to
Well,
look like a sword. I knew it was a
this end
dildo.
is very
I knew-
dildo-y.
I knew it was a dildo.
But yes, he will be vanquished.
I want you to know that it's okay that you just outed yourself. It's okay.
Well, I mean, it doubles
this
the
big
dildo.
this big sword fight coming up, and your first thought is, I'm going to shove this up his ass.
That's right. Well, to be fair, anything is a dildo if you try hard enough.
Right. Right. Sometimes, John, you don't even need to try. All right. So, yeah, she was AOC was physically stunned by that. She found a way to recover, but that was some interesting stuff. That took balls to do, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think it did. Great big lady balls. It was awesome.
Right. I'm trying to figure out where she was from. I couldn't understand the accent well enough. I couldn't place where she was
probably like New York, Puerto Rican.
New Yorican is what they call them.
New Yorican, that's right. That is what they call them.
Jesus, John, keep up.
Sorry, I'm not up to date on my racism. All right.
That's not racism. That's what they call themselves.
I know. It's okay if they call themselves that.
It's yes, and it's not racist if you use it as a title.
Yeah.
It's just like you can go up to black people and say "sir," and they're fine because you're using it as a title.
And yeah, Midget B is kind of reflecting my. Not really. I don't think it's stupid, but I do think it was a stunt.
Oh, it was definitely.
I think it was a great troll. I think it was an amazing troll.
Right. It's in response because that was something that was put out there. When she was talking about the scientists, this was a claim. That we should consider eating the old, like that, and that's kind of what we're going to have to go to, doing the whole Soylent Green kind of mindset.
Yeah.
That we're not going to be able to grow enough food here on the planet to support everybody, so we're going to have to start eating our own. I'm like, yeah, all right, really? So, that's what we've gotten to? Why not just get off your high horse and start building a fucking spaceship, pal?
That sounds awesome. Midget B rates it a solid 5 out of 7. It's great ranking. Strong execution, solid meme, boomer tier. I don't know if it's really boomer tier. That was IRL trolling. First of all, can never be boomer tier. I would think, at least in my opinion. I don't think it can be shit tier, but I don't even think that was shit tier. I think that was a little higher. I mean, it made the news, right? And made AOC flounder a little bit. So that was kind of nice to see. Not that it takes much, but she managed to get her way through the vetting process.
If you look on screen, the stop point I've got, she's got flounder covered.
Yeah.
If you look at her face, I mean, no. I'm just saying, look at her face right now on the screen. I think she's got flounder covered.
Ooh, Anna Volts is coming in with the insults. 9-gag tier? I don't know, man. I think no. Base, but a boomer nonetheless. Fair enough, guys. If I'm overruled, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I just think it's a better meme than that. Maybe I'm boomer. I don't know.
At first, I have to say it was solid meme only from the standpoint because the first time I watched it, I had to ask myself if the woman was being serious or not, and rewatch it just to watch for the tells that she was full of shit. And the taking off the jacket was because she was prepared to show the shirt at a certain point. So that's whenever I really clued in. But I was just listening to it more so than anything the first time.
Right. You'll see in the headboard cam, J. Edgar says. Flat Earth Fantasy.
Trump
I don't think we've seen you in the chat before, man. Welcome, Flat Earth Fantasy.
I wonder who will Trump
Trump
2020. Who will Trump 2020?
Reference.
LaRouche?
I guess that's why I'm not familiar with it.
Is that any relation to LaBouche? You're not even familiar with LaBouche, are you?
Nope.
It was 80s, 90s pop artist. Beat
Yeah,
my
that's why I wouldn't
lover,
be.
wanna beat my lover. Anyway, you had to be there. All right, so moving on, John. I'm going to let you set up this next clip, John, that we're going to watch.
All right.
Can you do that for me? It's
Which
going
one
to
is
be.
it? Oh,
it's going to
yes.
be. It's going to be Joker.
Yes.
It's the Joker.
Yeah.
That's funny. Nice job, Flat Earth.
September 23rd.
That's my birthday. That was my birthday.
It was. I found a Twitter handle by the name of Joker N-word Countdown. And I said, what is this? Turns out it was a guy who was counting down the days until today, October 4th, when he would say the N-word. And it was a big thing. He had, 107,000 followers, something like that, 137,000, something like that. He had a ton of followers. And he got on Sargon's radar. He made a video of it today, before the video came out, before the N-word was said. And so it was just this big thing. The comment section of each of his tweets, he'd be like, 11 days ago, 10 days ago, and that's all he would say. He doesn't have any other history on his Twitter account, even though it was a Twitter account from 2013, I think. Yeah, 2013. And the only thing he has is just 11 days, 10 days, 9 days, counting down, right? And then even today, he was like, 12 hours until I say it. 6 hours until I say, or 8 hours until I say it, and then 4 hours, and he all the way down to 60 seconds until I say it, right? And of course, 60 seconds, people are like, "Oh, it's happening!" Strap yourselves in. And then he releases the following video that we're about to watch now.
Good morning, good afternoon, it doesn't matter, because wherever you are on the globe, you will feel the ripples of this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, gamers, autistic people, amputees, straight and gay, black and white, people who are bisexual, Mexican people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people. Everybody has been following this since the very beginning. Tonight's a very important night. Why? Because tonight is the night I say it.
Oh my God, he's going to say it, John.
I
know, right?
Have in my possession hundreds of N-word passes. Tonight, we're gonna use them, boys. At any rate, a lot of people were afraid it wasn't gonna happen. But at this point, it'd be more villainous if I didn't do it. Am I right? All right, here goes nothing. Okay. Here we go. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells... Fuck, whatever. It's just one word. It's just one word. Let's ride. Anyone out there? Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, without further ado... Nigger! Not the black man! Oh, hell no! Don't say it, nigga! And just like that, my moment was taken away from me. Just when I thought my white privilege was going to extend to the furthest corners of the universe and finally envelop the one last thing I was denied access, the black man stopped me. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait until the next Joker movie comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no! Good evening.
So, black man.
Yeah, black man came and stopped him.
Black man.
Damn, we waited so long for it too. Yeah. There was a tweet that I forgot about, a video that he posted, which was all the people in his messages in his DMs telling him, like, as a black man, and they would show, like, their hand or something to prove it. And it's like, I give you an inward pass, but only if you say it with a hard R and things like that. So it was a fun ride, man. It was a really fun ride, and I think that was well worth it. That video was. He's a great Joker. He really makes a good Joker.
He's all right. He's still got some nerves though. I mean, you saw him pouring that drink. His hand was shaking. Look how long it took him to try and finally just get the word out.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's not as wild and carefree as the true Joker truly is. I mean, but
Yeah.
in his defense, I don't know that we've ever heard the real Joker say that word either.
That's true.
So he may have the same difficulty, getting it out. I don't think I would have that much trouble.
On Twitter, I would give you about 50 links to streamers who use the word in a racist context all day, every day. This is rather mild. Yeah.
And isn't it interesting?
But it was also, on Twitter, where if you said that and as not a black person, you would be taken off Twitter immediately.
Right.
Which I thought he was going to. I figured it was like a burner account that he was just like, screw it, I'll get this account deleted for the lulz. And I was like, all right, yeah, that sounds awesome.
Well,
yeah, he didn't end up doing it. Or I guess the black guy technically did. Black man said it.
Actually, I'm going to see if I can find something. I want to show you something. This will tie in. Seeing as how we're down here in sunny Florida.
Florida. And while we're waiting, everyone, if you want to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, that would be cool. Otherwise, I heard Stephen Ignoramus will eat a baby if you don't. So I advise we do that.
So I was reading a news article the other day, and it struck me, and I was like, of course, I immediately entered reactionary mode because there was a Universal employee who was fired just the other day.
That's right. I heard about this, yeah.
Because he was giving, well, the article I read, now bear in mind, didn't have the image or a screen cap from the video, anything like that. And he was dressed as Gru. He was a character actor, so he was dressed as Gru and was taking a picture with a young African-American girl. And the accusation, the reason for firing him was because he flashed the OK sign. The way that article spun it, he had done the OK sign, right? He had done this. Yep. Okay, but of course, being diligent, I followed up on the article when it, saw some follow-up on it and went into it to double check, and they actually had gotten a hold of images of this, and I'm going to put it up, and I want you to see, because I thought I was defending the guy, and I'm like, look, this is, the Anti-Defamation League and all of this has now deemed that as a hate symbol. It is official as a hate symbol now. So I was like, oh my God, here we go. Everybody's, going off the handle and just reacting to things. And I'm thinking Gru, it's like Gru, he's with the minions and all of that. And if I remember correctly, that's not, I want to say that he's flashed the OK sign, because that used to just mean okay, right?
Yeah.
But then I see the image and I believe, yeah. So are you looking at us right now, John? I'm going to blow it up a little. But
yeah, I'm looking at the stream.
So there's the image of the photo that that was going on at the time. You see him putting it there?
I do. So
he was not flashing the OK sign. This guy was actually trying to put it out there as the hate symbol. And
no way.
And I'm like, okay, so that's fucked up. You don't do that shit with kids, right? But
I don't believe it. I need to see more.
Well, I mean,
it coming from his own mouth.
Well, this is the parents were shooting a video of it, I guess, and this is clip from it. But I'm torn on this because I'm like, okay, well, fuck you people for making it a hate crime now to make okay, to say okay with your fingers. I can't teach this to my granddaughter now, right? This is something else I can't teach to her. These are the kind of things you teach to children, little things like that. Okay, all right, thumbs up. You do these things, right? And you teach them all, and it teaches them manual dexterity with their fingers. There are a lot of things that they're able to do with this. They can communicate with it back and forth to you before they learn how to talk. There's so many valuable things just from all these little things we do with our fingers. Even this, I'll do this with the kids. I taught this, and be like, all right. And that's great. It's fun. But you can't do that now. Now it's guns,
as soon as she gets into
right?
preschool, as soon as she gets into preschool, that's it. She's going to get suspended.
And so, it's that kind of thing. It's, and Mitch is like, it's like the N-word, don't let it have power over you. But the problem is it's not about me having an issue teaching it and in context. The problem is when they go out in public as a young child and do it, and there's all these irrational people out there that are, seeing it as a hate symbol. Why are you teaching your child hate symbols?
Right.
So
and then instead, what we do is not let people take. If someone says, "Oh, this is a this symbol," now just tell them, "No, it's not."
So just go ahead. Right?
Yeah, you have to agree that it's a hate symbol in order for it to have any effect on you. That's the point. If people don't agree that it means that, then it's not going to mean that.
Well, right, but I have to think.
Simple as that.
But I have to think about the child. It's a grandchild. If she's out in public and for some reason she does that and she starts being ridiculed, I'm not there to defend her. I'm not there.
Yeah.
And if somebody else doesn't take up the mantle to defend her, then she just gets persecuted, even as a child, for that kind of thing, whether it be from her peers or whether it be from other adults who come in and want to scold her and say, "Oh no, don't do that. That's bad. You shouldn't do that. Your mommy and daddy shouldn't let you do that," because that's how people are. They want to parent your children for you when they're out in public a lot of times.
Well, I mean, especially at school, that's probably where the problem would be if there was one. But I mean, even then, if she comes home and because that's the thing is what would have to happen for you to. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just go, okay, well, this is the okay symbol, but some people think it's this, and,
Right, now you got to explain things like that.
Right, so instead, you kind of have to let it happen and then be like, tell them no, it's not. Tell them no, it's not that. It doesn't mean that. It's bullshit.
It really is. It's an interesting dichotomy, a position to be in. This is one of the hardest things to deal with in this cultural shift that we're seeing. The way this is going on, this PC, even much more PC cultural shift than it was when PC, political correctness originally started back in the 80s, 90s. It's so much more abrasive now, and it's so much more confining. What you can and can't do, or what you feel comfortable doing. You have to ask yourself from a parenting standpoint what you teach a child because of what the public face is going to do. I mean, it's a real thing, John. You don't want a child to go out and be bullied because of something that they've seen as totally innocuous and they didn't realize, right? I mean, just simple things like that. And the same thing applies to, say, punishment, right? It's not as easy to consider swatting your child on the bottom these days, because if the child says something and says the wrong thing or presents it in the wrong way or gives anybody just some indication that they got hit on the ass, then that person will then conceivably go off to start bringing in child care services, et cetera, because they're a fucking lunatic.
Yep.
It's hard to raise children these days. It's amazing, and it's only going to make a worse version of the current generations that are setting that tone.
Yeah, we're seeing basically the beginnings of what's his name? Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers world. How it got to where it was it started out with the kids being running rampant, like children, like gangs of children running through the cities and like committing all kinds of crime and beating the shit out of people, killing people, and like the way that the justice system was set up was if it was your first offense, you just got to go. If it's your second offense, you got like a slap on the wrist, and just continuously until finally, after several tries, you finally got some prison time. And then that's kind of where we're headed at the moment. We're heading towards that whole almost like children can do whatever they want kind of deal. And
Um,
yeah,
I,
goddamn, it'll
I,
cause the collapse of society, according to Robert Heinlein.
well, I will see your Starship Troopers, and I will raise you a nightmarish version, Children of the Corn. I, I am really worried that the younger generations, if this is allowed to continue, and it worsens, eating the babies is not going.
That solve a lot of the
This
problems,
talk
though.
about eating the older, eating people later. I'm worried about the younger generations just deciding, okay, anybody over the age of 50's got to go,
Right. So we just eat them first before
right?
they eat
Kill them
us.
off, process them into food, whatever. Use them for fertilizer, whatever. But 50 is going to be the new end cap, right? And do you remember the original Star Trek? The original Star Trek series. There was an episode where they
Yeah.
went to a planet, but the only inhabitants on the planet were kids.
Yeah,
Because all the all the
because
grown-ups
they had killed all the
you kill
grown-ups.
they kill a
Yeah,
certain, and they call
I
it
remember that one.
grumps. Grown-ups were
Yeah,
grumps. That's what they were called,
yeah.
grumps. I have those kind of fears that sneak in there when I'm thinking about what the future holds for these younger generations, or for us as the younger generations get older. Because
Yeah.
you need to remember, John, where you're at right now, the generation that is just now starting school, those are going to be the people taking care of you. So what they're being
Yep.
taught and how they're being culturally brainwashed is going to directly impact your elderly years.
I believe it. I do want to address something that Flat Earth Fantasy is saying there in the chat. Said N-word is a useless word. The only use of it is to describe hate for black people. I disagree with that. There's one other context I can think of. I mean, one, satire or something like that, and two, if one black person says it to another black person, it's to denote camaraderie and usually friendship or some kind of togetherness. So
Yeah,
that, I mean, there's two different contexts where it's not about hate.
but just
That's my only point.
one thing I have to say about that, and this is where this is where people could start want to try and color me racist. I don't agree with the appropriation of the word. I'm much happier with them having called each other brother and sister
Yeah,
than that. I think that was good terminology. I from having heard it so much when I was younger, I adopted calling people brother. When I talk to
yeah,
other men, I refer to them as brother because we are. That's what that was the mindset that bled over from the 70s. We're all brothers and sisters out there just trying to make it
right.
through, right? Doesn't matter what color you are, what race are you? I'm fucking human. What are you? That's the mindset, and so I thought the appropriation of the word was really wrong because it creates a reverse push on racism that they didn't want, because now there's people sitting around, well, if they use it, why can't I use
Oh
it?
wait, are
It's
you
a
echoing, Robert?
I don't know, am I echoing? I don't know why I would have an echo. I don't have any other mics working.
I don't hear an echo on the stream, so I think Jay Edgar's just full of it.
Jay Edgar is probably had the glass up to his ear but missed his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens.
Right. But anyway, I may have bumped my mic cord. Let me get it out of the way. That could be it too.
Yeah.
Overall, it's one of those things, John, that I don't, like I said, I don't agree with it because I don't think it helped the situation any. I think it only widens the gap. when people even begin to discuss the word. But
Yeah.
I will say this, you know, now the word niggardly. Now I
Yes,
don't
that's
know
a
if
real word.
I don't know if it directly derives from that or if it's just an association. But
Right.
that word itself, I mean, now you like somebody who was it? Somebody off mic friend was IRL friend was said that in a game and got banned from the game for a while, right? Or something
Oh
like
wow.
that. Um, he switched from his iPod to his tablet. Both were playing.
God damn it, Jagger! Don't do that. Don't do that to us.
The word
And
carries a
then
connotation like any other. Why do black people use it? Solidarity. Why is collectivism good? Do they hate themselves and or each other?
yeah, I think he's
These are
addressing what Flutter's Fantasy's been talking about in the chat there. So
yeah, and that's
nothing past that.
those are the kind of questions we have to ask. We have to ask these questions and demand real answers from it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know, do people like Farrakhan?
Oh God. Fucking Louis
What's his
Farrakhan.
name? With the
Louis
hair,
Farrakhan.
with the hair, with the hair.
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton.
Yeah,
People like
I knew
this,
exactly who you were talking about
right?
too.
The hair, the hair. How do they feel about the appropriation of the word and what it does to
Well, I mean,
the
also
racial climate?
a lot of the friends that I had growing up who happened to be black, their parents wouldn't let them say that in the house, and they didn't say it either. Their parents
Well, there
didn't.
was a
I mean,
there was a
obviously,
phase of that happened
that
whenever
was
the
the
first was
mid to
word.
late '90s. Yeah,
Right. It was
mid to late
first being
'90s.
appropriated. There was a phase where African American people were trying to stop them from using it.
Yeah,
And
I mean, obviously, as soon as they left the house, it was every
sure.
third word or so. But there was at least an attempt made.
But it's interesting to me, and there's something else that and this is, this has been adopted by, multiple race. Race doesn't factor into it, but it's one of these things. This is an example of something else that was appropriated, but the context it was appropriated from it's the wearing of the pants down below, down on your ass, so your boxers are hanging out.
Yeah,
This low ride to the pants and stuff. You know where that
yeah.
originates, right?
Prison. Yeah,
Right. That originated in prison. That's how you knew somebody was up to give the
that's
ass,
right.
right?
Yep.
That's the ass you tagged in
Means
prison because
they were single and looking. Yeah.
it was marketing, right? And that's what that was. Yet now you see it all the time, and it's like, do you know what you're advertising right now? Do you even know what you're advertising? You're telling me right
Yeah.
now that I should just walk up to you on the sidewalk and take a piece of that ass. That's what
Yeah.
you're telling me. But
And then Flat Earth Fantasy is going on again about the N word, and he ends by saying it's a clear racist term. It absolutely is a clear racist term.
it is
100%.
no
The only
matter
reason
who uses it.
right. Yeah, well, okay, I guess. I mean, because what I was saying was, there are at least two contexts I can think of where it's not, but it is overall a racist term. Yes.
And even the African Americans that have had appropriation of the word is interesting because for them it is still a racist word because unless you're vetted, I guess you're not even allowed to say the soft
The
R
soft A.
version, the soft A version. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not even allowed to say that. So
Yeah.
even that appropriated version of it is seen as a racist term by them, if not
Hmm.
used by their own race or someone
Right.
vetted in their culture. It's amazing to me that they would continue to use it knowing they're using a known racial slur.
Yeah.
It's one of those paradoxes that or is that a conundrum? Which is it? Is it both? It's a paradox wrapped in a conundrum.
Oh shit! Flat Earth Fantasy. Are you from Croatia? He says we say it the same in Croatia. Oh shit! Do we have an international audience now? I'm super excited. I don't count Canada as being international.
Nice.
That's
Croatia.
awesome, man.
I do,
Yeah,
I want
badass.
I know so little about Croatia.
Yeah, I know pretty much nothing.
But I would be
Yeah.
willing to find out a couple of things about Croatia. I mean, why is Croatia significant from a not a military standpoint, but there was something. What happened with
Yeah.
Croatia? 80s,
Uh,
90s, 60s,
yeah. It was
70s.
part of the shit we had. We were bombing random shit at that time. That was where the former Yugoslavia came out of. I'm not sure if it. Yeah, I know it's a Balkan state, Midget B, but I'm trying to think of what was that
There
called?
was something significant that went on there. Yeah,
Oh shit! Jaeger says Croatian women are easy. Flat Earth Fantasy, can you confirm?
yeah, Flat Earth Fantasy. What was the altercation that was going on? Was it
Yeah,
Bosnia?
I know. Yeah, it was Bosnia, but I'm trying to think of what the name of it was.
So if
But I
it was
can't think of it off the
Bosnia,
top.
my brother might have been there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He
My dad was in the Navy at that time, but
no, he graduated in '85. He would have been out of the military by '89,
hmm.
90, because he came out early.
Flat Earth Fantasy is actually a Croatian woman.
Wow,
Really?
wow,
And a female. So we have an international and a female audience. Holy shit!
But are you a flat earther for real?
We don't go for stupid. So it's like Edgar. Sorry, Edgar got called out. Get him.
Hold on,
Get him.
but to Ed's credit, he does have a camera in his headboard, which I'm saying just goes a long way to, I mean, it's ease of use kind of thing. Like you don't even have to work to get the filming done so much, right? It's there. So she makes fun of flat earthers. That's awesome. I make fun of flat earthers too.
Do you make videos, Flat Earth Fantasy? I'm just curious. Because I mean, we'll give you a shout out. I don't care.
Wait, are you insinuating that she's a porn star because of fantasy is in her name? Because she used the word fantasy. That's horrible, John.
I know.
Horrible.
I'm a horrible misogynist. Made a few music videos of Nathan. Is that the same Nathan that we're...
Nathaniel Slattery? Bear?
Yeah. Protect his identity, sir. How dare you?
Right. Is that the Nathan we're talking about?
Very well could be. It's only Nathan I know, to be fair.
But I like talking about racism because I hate
Let's find out.
Thing. What are we finding out? Nathan Oakley, the flat earther from National Geographic.
Apparently,
a few music videos of Nathan Oakley. Got it.
Nathan Oakley.
Yeah.
So apparently she's live. Interesting.
She's what?
Okay, that's cool.
Are you stalking her right now as we speak?
I just checked out. Yeah.
So horrible. I have a video from 1969 video of curvature and some other stuff. Oh, cool. So, yeah. I'm streaming Cool Hard Logic. Nice.
Yeah, everyone go check out Flat Earth Fantasy's channel.
Yeah, you can even throw the link right there in the chat if you wanted to. I'm good with that. That's good.
Yeah. Mostly for baiting. Got it. Live 24 hours live stream. But yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, go ahead and throw the link up there if you want.
Wait.
Oh. What?
Nothing. I'm looking for a pen, John. I'm looking for a pen.
Gotcha.
All
right.
Anyway, so that was that was my fun. I got deflated on that one. I was really on that guy's side till I saw the pictures of the actual incident. I'm like, fuck you, you asshole.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I saw but is that guy really serious about?
He holds that. Yeah,
actually trying.
He holds that there. He holds that there because what the article I found, and I didn't pull up the same article. I didn't have the link, but it is like 3 or 4 seconds of him standing there while they're videoing the kids and taking pictures. And
I mean, sure, but was it a troll or is he serious about it?
He was.
That's the thing.
His hand. Well, all I know is his hand stayed on her shoulder in that formation the whole time.
Sure.
And he has not. So far, nothing has come from him in argument about being fired for this. Midget, I believe, put out there earlier that he I don't know if he read it or what, that the guy had been planning on doing something like this. But who knows? But he was obviously, he's not making an okay sign with his hand like that. And that's just not a normal way to, unless, no, that his hands are in gloves if they're Gru hands still. He's got, so like, I say fuck him. He was just trying to,
I'm going to go with troll until actual, evidence comes out that he's an actual white supremacist.
Well, I don't know about him being a white supremacist. I know it's troll enough. But you know what? Absolutely. Don't involve kids in your trolling. That's just fucking.
Yeah. I mean,
this is. Think about it this way. That right there, that moment for a kid is a memory. And now you've tainted that, because now when somebody talks about that memory with you, they're going to be talking about that shit that happened and why somebody put a hate symbol on your little African American shoulder. That's going to be the conversation about that memory now.
I like what Midget P said in the chat there. It says, what's an article written without comment from the subject of the article in my 2019?
Well, in the news defense,
I know it's crazy to believe.
If you were the guy, it's kind of it's 50-50. Does he want to get his face out there, since, he's obviously going to be shamed if he comes out in public owning up to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one would think he's just going to be shamed for a while.
I mean, is his name out there?
I haven't seen, I don't think I've seen his name.
Then fair enough. I mean, if his name was already out there, screw it. Just go full on, troll, and you'll get a whole bunch of money from people. People donate to your GoFundMe or whatever.
But I think Universal has to protect his anonymity unless he's being brought up on charges.
For what? Charges of what?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that would make his name go public, but
it is Florida though. And Florida has very loose laws about what's, what can be public, what kind of personal information can be published in the news.
Now, the mother's response was interesting. She said, firing one employee is not enough for her. She said, adding she wants Universal Orlando and other companies to revamp their hiring processes and do more research on who they hire.
I want annual passes. I want free food. I want free fast passes to all the rides.
She said they need to make sure that there's training and supervision. Situations like this can become deadly, like we've seen with El Paso and New Zealand. I mean, he was trolling. It's one of those things, but he lost his job. But
I mean, to be fair, he should know better than to do that at his place of business, at the place of work. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between work and, your regular life. If he wants to take a picture with his friends on a night out, all flashing the okay sign, that's cute and funny, whatever. Who cares? You know what I mean? But when your job's on the line, I mean, don't fuck with your livelihood.
Well, I will say this. I do wonder if maybe with his close friends, he had like a pool going just on how long it would take for it to come out that he did this. Like, it took the woman.
Or how long he could hold it there.
Right.
That could have been,
True.
like with one of the minions or something. They're like, I bet I can do it for 10 minutes.
Right.
Or 10 seconds. Or I bet I can do it for a minute. That kind of shit. Whatever.
Yeah, that's hey, it's not Tide Pods, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, something else happened this week, John. I didn't know anything about this till you pointed it out off mic before the show. So if you want to give a little intro into this, I've got this video from Jacob Wall, the bodybuilder. Just give me a minute. Go ahead, and I'll let you go ahead and introduce kind of what's going on, what the tie-in to this is.
What was the guy's name? The other guy's name? It was Jacob Wall, who's he's a right-wing reporter. He really is. But he's so, like, he's known for making up a lot of fake news. And not even just, like, reporting something in an odd way to make you think something. Like, he just posts straight-up fake shit. Like, that's his deal.
The other one is...
that's where, like, even the right-wing people don't like him at all. He's completely without credibility.
And
Um,
Berkman is the guy that
is the other guy's name?
Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman.
Okay. Yeah, so he got this other guy. I guess he got him to say that he was a combat veteran, and that Elizabeth Warren had reached out to this guy on what was it, like Cowboys for Angels or something like that.com. I don't even know if that's a real site.
Right.
Should find out. But it's basically like a hookup site. And he said that Elizabeth Warren reached out to him and put him on a plane to was it Michigan or Wisconsin, one of those, to meet with her at a hotel, and they proceeded to have some pretty vigorous BDSM sex. Yeah, that's what it was alleged, and that apparently she had said, when he asked, "Aren't you married?" and she's like, "Well, I am, but my husband and I are in an open relationship. You'd be surprised at how many studs like you meet with congressional, people." And proceeded to have very vigorous, like I said, very vigorous BDSM sex, enough to where he supposedly got a scar from it, which is not supposed to happen when you do this. But the thing is, that picture that he showed, like, oh, here's the scar that he got, apparently had been he was posted on Instagram beforehand, and it was due to something else. I didn't check as to what it was, what the scar was actually from. But it was that, and then there's also questions about whether or not he even served.
Right.
In the military.
The scar was supposed to be a swing-related mishap from 2016, a sex swing-related mishap.
Yeah. So
you're doing it wrong, buddy.
Right. So I want to be fair whenever I can. That the right wing is not immune to fake news.
Well,
and like Midget B was saying, it's not at all a political hit job. Yeah, exactly. Obviously that's sarcastic. It's obviously a political hit job, and it's a shame. It's a disgrace. We don't need to do that, because all we have to do is just let the left talk, and they'll take themselves down.
What's amazing to me is that like guys like this, that everyone sees as morons, right? Why would the press even come when they call a press conference, right? Why would you waste your time going and listening to these two schmucks talk if they've proven, like the last time they did it, what is his name? Berkman? Did I say his name was Berkman? Yeah, Jack Berkman. He had the last time they had a press conference, Jack Berkman spent the entire press conference with his fly open.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, why would you even take these guys seriously, right? But let's see some of their antics and see what kind of fun they have for us.
Yeah, you find out pretty quick that they're full of shit.
Right there, black shirt.
Your security guard isn't taking your demands. Ladies and gentlemen, we open now.
All right, how much did she pay you?
Let me back it up for a second so we can get their initial announcement.
Good afternoon.
Is this showing on the screen fine?
For being here.
Yeah.
The reason we do this is now more than ever, truth and absolute truth and the facts are needed in politics. As you get into a world that just goes wild on the internet, there has to be a group that does nothing but get
smiling. Look at him, can't even keep a straight face.
And frankly, in both parties, in all parties,
I'm talking about the guy in the suit, obviously.
Here at Project 1599, which is the center of the 2020 election. And I turn it over now to my partner, Jacob Bull. Jacob.
Like we said, it's good to welcome you back to the center of election 2020. And today we're presenting some very serious allegations against Senator Elizabeth Warren. She was involved in a very explicit relationship with a male escort who stands to my left side, a decorated U.S. combat veteran, somebody who served our country, a war hero, truly. I don't think this is a funny thing. And so, without further ado, I'm going to toss it to Kelvin here, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his general background and his...
I have a question. Are you laughing at our troops? Do you think his service in Afghanistan is funny? Do you think our dead soldiers? Do you think our service? Do you think our soldiers who lost their lives in Afghanistan?
Yeah. Whoa.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Kelvin, is that a name or is that a heat unit?
Jack Bertman and Dick sit here. I'm 25 years
Unit
old.
of measurement,
I'm a
isn't
United
it?
States combat veteran. Tonight, this evening, I bring you here to talk about how me and Senator Warren had our escapade. Senator Elizabeth Warren first secured my services from a website called Cowboys for Angels.
Cowboys for Angels.
For attractive young men, as you can see. We provide companionship, escort services to be well-heeled women. I was hired by Senator Warren from the site in August 7th of 2018.
Oh, it is a real
She
site.
reached out by messaging me on the site.
Now, have you, if you're listening to him real close, he's trying to inflect on parts of this prepared speech like they told him to, and it's coming off really like sadly staged.
Yeah, oh my god, man. Yeah.
On August 8th of 2018, I was booked by...
The laughing has to stop or you have to leave the property. I'm not going to tell you yet. Security will remove you. Last warning.
Can't laugh anymore.
Thank you. I was booked by Senator Warren on a flight to Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
I'm sorry. Of the Hilton Hotel in Woburn.
Put it in your mouth, sir.
I complied with the instructions of my new client, despite being rather nervous.
Did you see that pause? Did you see that?
Many times before.
Okay. He wants to be an actor, too. He's trying to get a gig. I got to back that up for just a second. Watch that inflection again.
Yeah.
Rather nervous.
Rather nervous.
I had to spend time with women many times before, but never a woman over 60. Although I was unaware of it at the time, Senator Warren wanted not just rough sex, but extensive BDSM play, which I'm sure you're quite familiar with, I'm sure. On the early morning of August 8th, before boarding my flight, she messaged me and told me to bring toys. I asked, what kind of toys? And she said, surprise me. At that point, while waiting to board my flight, I ordered a Hitachi massager and a small tube of water-based lubricant.
Okay. So they really prepared that statement for him to make.
Yeah,
which is
bring toys.
just...
What kind of toys? Surprise me. Yeah.
So you know why those women were cracking up so hard in the audience?
Why is that? Because it's fucking ridiculous.
It's because of it's because real women know one thing. Bitches ain't got to pay for sex. All they got to do is walk out in public and go, "I'm so horny."
Yeah. Just walk into a busy room full of men and be like, "Who wants to fuck?"
Right.
And they're gonna get at least 4 of them.
Right.
Like, yeah, I do. Yeah.
You put any woman walk into a bar, tell her to walk in there and say you're horny, she'll walk out with 20 guys. Tell a guy to go into a bar and say that same shit, he's gonna come out with 20 fucking slaps across his face.
He's gonna get bounced.
I mean, that's just it. Women don't have to pay for sex. Now, maybe Elizabeth Warren has to pay for it so her husband doesn't find out.
Right. Well, so there's that, and then obviously once they get older, then it gets a little bit more difficult. To be fair.
All right. So now they're going to start asking some questions from the press that's there.
Yes.
So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and see if I can get to some of the questions because he nauseates me when he talks. Just trying to read the script, to act the script, as it were.
Yeah.
But let me see if I can get to where they're taking some questions.
And the distinct rubbery smell.
And of course.
And of course.
What do you think of Trump's
Well, hold on, hang on. What we're going to show you now is that the sex between our client here and Senator Warren was so violent that he actually obtained scars on his back.
Oh, the scars.
Go ahead and show us the scars there. We're going to open up the questions very shortly. You'll be able to ask whatever you want. But until then, you're going to have to stay quiet or you're going to be asked to leave. Go ahead and show us the scars here.
Damn,
You can see two scars here.
3.
That was from the cat o' nine tails. That was from Senator Warren's transgressions. You know, when you look at Senator Warren and you see, wow, why hasn't she changed her last name to Mann? Her husband's last name is Mann. And then you realize that she's in an open relationship. It's not as surprising.
She's in an open
I
relationship.
would think, all kidding aside, this is a young man who fought for his country and was wounded in Afghanistan. I don't think any of you have ever fought for your country or been wounded in Afghanistan. I certainly don't think you've ever fought for your country. So bear that in mind. You owe respect to a Marine that's fought for his country. I think it's shameful behavior.
All right, and without further ado, we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions. Go ahead and remove him, Lewis. Get that guy out of there. He's freaking me out. Get that guy out of there.
He's freaking me out. And he's like, no.
Right there, black shirt.
The security guard isn't taking your demands. Ladies and gentlemen, we open now.
All right, how much did she pay you? That's for you here. How much did she pay you? And how much did she tip?
So
How much did she tip?
So I've already ran escort services before, as I previously stated. So I don't really see this much of initial payment. I usually see a bigger tip. The initial payment was quite substantial, and the tip was equally as such.
Can you give us a dollar amount?
The dollar amount was $1,000 for just the initial, and then she paid $1,250.
But you did it multiple times. Was it the same rate each time?
Listen, we're going to go ahead and do this in an orderly fashion. Right there, Mr. Feinberg.
Yes. So, for your guest here, how could you meet with Senator Warren on August 8th, 2018, when the Senate was, I believe, in session for the first 2 weeks of August?
She wasn't at the Senate. She was in Woburn, Massachusetts, as you will find if you look at her calendars and if you look at her campaign billings, you will find that she was at the hotel with Mr. Wiley at the time. So you can look at the FEC records. All the records are very clear.
Has verified this with her campaign billings. If you look at her FEC records, you will see verification. I can't speak to whether the Senate was in session or whether she should have been doing her job, but I can speak to the campaign billings we researched.
Next question, right there, sir, in the poll. Yes, you.
What happened to the age? She was 24 last night, now he's 25.
No, listen.
On the press release, he was 24, now he's 25. He's
almost 25.
At the time he was 24, and now he's 25.
Oh, so he turned 25 last night?
You seem like this is his age is a big subject of controversy for you. It's not for us. All right, next question, right there. In the polo.
Gentlemen, the polo.
I'm going to tell you, you have to be very careful in this day and age with revenge porn laws and things of that sort.
Strictly never any photography with me or any client, ever.
But what he does have is he has voluminous Amazon receipts, Uber receipts, you name it. Now, listen, when people come to us, it's our job to vet their stories. Now, if he said that he was at one location at one time and that Senator Warren happened to be at that same location, I might worry. But here's the thing. He says, no, I was here at the same time. He shows us receipts. He was at the Watergate Hotel. He shows us receipts. And sure enough, Elizabeth Warren's campaign was at that very same hotel at that very same time on multiple occasions. So we're not alleging anything criminal here, but the reality is that Elizabeth Warren has engaged in deviant sexual activities, and we believe that it's in the interest of democracy that people know. Right there, blue shirt. We are releasing his receipts very shortly. Black shirt.
You said at the Watergate Hotel, is that the hotel in point number 9?
No, that was at the Jefferson on that particular occasion. There was another occasion where it was at the Watergate. Right there, gray shirt.
Yeah, you just said that there was no illegal activity had, but other than in the state of Nevada, it is illegal to pay for intercourse. So was
No, there was no payment. There was no payment for intercourse. What there was a payment for companionship escort services. As our client has engaged in many times, occasionally you have women, maybe they're less attractive, and they want a companion to come along with them to a baby shower, a bachelorette party, etc. And they will pay a good-looking young man, like our client, to come with them. Right there, black shirt.
Mr. Walt, do you believe Donald Trump's tariffs on scotch will inhibit the masculine...
Next question. Feinberg, yes.
Do you have any, or can your buddy here provide any documentation about his Marine Corps service, unit, dates of service?
You said he was a Purple Heart.
Rank.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Feinberg. How about a non-disclosure agreement with Elizabeth Warren's signature on it, a mutual NDA? Would that do it for you?
Do you have that?
Oh, about his Marine service. No. He's going to talk. I'm sorry. I misheard you.
How did you mishear that? Right.
Talk about your Marine service. Let's show these guys up.
Any comment about your Purple Heart? Yeah, what was your Purple Heart?
I do not have a Purple Heart. You have to put in for a Purple Heart. Even if you're wounded, you still have to put in for a Purple Heart.
Did you put it in Elizabeth Warren?
So my service in Afghanistan, it was very early in my Marine Corps time of just getting into my unit. 2012. Unit, I was stationed in Hawaii.
What unit?
1-3.
1-3.
1-3. The rest you can look.
1-3.
It's on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But in
Is that a
2012,
unit?
1-3.
we were stationed
No.
in Afghanistan, and it was just very recently
Just 1-3.
deployed. I do apologize. Deployed to Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's so full of shit.
And
when
in
it
this
comes to that.
time that I went there,
What's going on? We're going to take them one at a time.
Let me just tell you one thing. When it comes to honoring service here, we don't play around. And if you're going to keep impugning this serviceman's service, fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan, then you're going to leave. Get that guy out of here. He's crazy. What? There's no stolen valor here. Ma'am, right here.
About half of Americans participate in BDSM, and this sounds like a consensual relationship, so what's the big deal?
No, half of Americans don't participate in BDSM. Actually, fetish...
Is this about the briefcase?
Listen. Half of Americans...
She's a sex educator.
Maybe you participate in BDSM, but
I still don't think that
Americans
half
don't.
of Americans engage. Maybe like super soft BDSM. I don't think furry haircuts count.
Here you have a...
Really.
Here you have,
Well, listen. I mean, BDSM. It can be as mild as a little hair pulling and butt smacking. I don't know. That doesn't count. Whenever you get to the extremists who, the Puritans, right? That want to preach this puritanical mindset. Yeah, you pull hair and you smack an ass. That's entering into the.
So I engage in BDSM every time.
That's one of those 50 shades
by, and you just
That's one
anytime
of those,
my girl walks by, you just smack her in the ass. That's BDSM, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of those 50 Shades of Grey. I'm just saying. But she's, that woman's not far off the mark. BDSM is not an uncommon thing in America.
No, it's not. It's very common, yeah.
What deviant?
I don't think half, though.
Right. What deviant? Well, if you took a poll, if you just went off a poll, right, and ask 1,000 people, if 50% of them said, yeah, I've done some rough play. Think about how subjective.
What does the chat think? Do you guys engage in BDSM ever?
Yes, please raise your hand if you've engaged in BDSM, please.
Yes, please.
We won't out you, but we may
and then
let you out yourself.
Then give me your phone number when you're done.
Look, plain sex gets boring at times. It absolutely does.
True.
Plain sex, right? You gotta sprinkle some nuts on there every once in a while and a little chocolate syrup.
And have some excitement.
And make that stuff exciting, you know? I mean, you want to spice things up in the bedroom, nothing does it like a little paprika. I'm just saying. That's some good spice for the bedroom. Don't knock it till you've tried it, John.
I won't.
And when they say "ow" the first 2 times, don't sweat it.
They don't really mean that. Yeah.
They get into a flow, just like you will. You'll get into the same flow. You'll both stop feeling the pain soon. Go to your happy place. Anyway, these guys are absolute idiots.
Yeah, that's probably enough of that crap because
they are.
Yeah, they're so caught. They are so. Caught.
And what amazes me is the audacity that people actually exhibit in today's present world. I mean, this is insane stuff, John. I mean, I don't know how these people have always. I've just never understood it. These guys are, you know, I qualify these guys as no different than like the televangelists and shit like that are just up there just spewing bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, just you know, and I'm like, how do they make their money? So, you know, they're making money somehow. I guess they're getting, I don't know, appearances. I don't know. What are these? Are they really journalists?
Talking about their motivation.
Are they really like considered journalists? They're just right-wing smear merchants. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really what it seems like. Yeah, that they're just trying to hurt Elizabeth Warren's campaign by putting out like vague accusations. But the thing is, people start asking questions because they'd be very interested in something like that, you know. But that's the problem, is that they're interested in it, and you can't answer the questions. And not even like, even if you could answer them, they're not. Well, you can't answer them to a credible degree. So. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because of course my first thought is, how do these guys get paid? How do they make money? You know, but then I'm thinking, okay, so there's probably Republican dollars in their pocket to try and make things like this happen. But just as well as Democrat money, you know, money is in people's pockets on that side.
I mean, I wouldn't make an accusation on either side about that. I think it's just people working for their own.
If you're gonna sling mud, you don't always want to get your hands dirty to do it, John. I mean,
I understand that.
This is how politics is played, and you pay people to do these things. Both sides do it.
I understand that. I'm just saying
that's the only place
I would make the accusation that they're being paid by someone.
It's not an accusation. It's just a presumption or an assumption. I won't even say an assumption. I'm just saying it's a presumption based off where I would think their money would generate from doing things like
it's possible. They're probably like a BuzzFeed, but for the right. I haven't heard of these guys until today.
Right.
So
I mean,
there's actually a shoe on head video that I watched that like early, like 5 o'clock this morning when I got home from work.
Mitch says, seems to me like they're trying to make a point.
Yeah, I want to know what point that is, Midget B. Are you about to engage in apologetics, right-wing apologetics?
Right.
See it. I'm interested. A young girl or boy showing off sex scars from a romp with Jeb. Oh, Jedgar saying, now imagine this going the other direction.
Right, maybe not
Jeb. Jeb is way too fucking boring to be engaged in something like that.
It would have to be Marco Rubio.
It'd have to be like Rubio or like...
Yeah, because you wouldn't expect it from Rubio. You're like, really? He's a little freak show?
Flat Earth Fantasy says, back in the day, having sex was pretty rare, and people were happy just getting some. Nowadays, the internet is so oversaturated with porn that you can't open Weather Network without seeing some skin. I don't think... depends on what day you're talking about. You say back in the day. It depends on where you are. I mean, if you were in Croatia, I don't know what the sex scene is like over there, but America's pretty loose with sex, and it has been since at least the 60s.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference. I mean, when you talk about a European take on sex versus an American take on sex, I mean, we still have some very puritanical mindsets in this country.
Yeah, but Croatia is Eastern European.
Old laws on the book.
Yeah, see, Flat Earth is saying we used to lynch sex workers, burn them at the stake. Midget B's apologetics coming in. They're probably trying to make a point about vague, ridiculous accusations against prominent public figures. I mean, if that was the point that they were trying to make, wouldn't they have come out already or by now and said that? I don't know. And plus, he's got a history of this sort of thing. It's not like it's a one-off event.
Yeah, they're known for trying to smear politicians on the opposite side.
Flutter says they all ran to the USA. Well, they're welcome here. Just give them my number. I'll find something for them. Find out where they can go. Jager says with Rubio, it would be more like Rubio. Really, he got some.
Right.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, one other thing that we're going to have to talk about tonight, John, since we're talking about people saying and doing outlandish things, et cetera, of course, this week has been an ongoing media whirlwind pursuing the impeachment coverage that's going on with our illustrious president. The latest revelation are text messages that went on between a couple of U.S. diplomats in regard to the Ukraine. One's named Volker, one's named Sondland. And I have to say, John, that while I understand how...
Flutter lied to us.
What?
She said that she was in Croatia, but she's actually in the U.S. She was one of them. I don't even know if you're a woman now. I can't believe anything.
No. I believe it. She's already said that she has a. I know what she does for a living, and I could see that she would be here. I mean, she would. Right. Yeah, she could. Yeah.
Flutter, make sure you join our Discord server. Linked in the description. It's a fun place.
I'm making a presumption from things that she said in the chat, but
right.
I get it. I have an idea. I understand what she's saying.
Yeah.
It's But welcome, and enjoy your stay. And that would explain why you would be watching. What was the time zone difference between here and Croatia? Yeah, right.
Yeah, what would it be over there? Like 7 or 8 hours?
I don't know what the time there would be. Yeah, it would be something like that.
From Croatia and live in Canada. Oh, so I thought we had an international audience. Like I said before, I don't count.
We do have an international audience.
I don't count Canada as international. It's barely international. It's
what?
Pretty much just like America expansion.
But she is Croatian in Canada, so it's very international for her. So thus, it becomes more international for us.
Fair enough.
Right.
Whatever.
I got to give the girl props.
Fair enough. Well, you're welcome either way.
In my mind, you're very welcome. I'm saying welcome twice. So anyway, these texts that came out, they have. I'm not saying they've swung my opinion. Again, I said that I'm trying to approach this from a very middle of the road perspective, so that I can weigh all of the factors. But I do believe that these text messages are going to be, for want of a better term, one of the smoking guns that the Democrats are going to be able to leverage, because there's got to be some explaining, some accountability for what was said in these text messages that's very in line with what the whistleblower was talking about, what the accusations and allegations are. So anyway, I'll put these up on the screen. You'll be able to see them with me. If I need to blow them up, just let me know. This is out of Politico, so grain of salt, whatever, this, that, and the other. I get it, deep fakes, who knows, et cetera, but these are supposed to be the actual text messages, some of the text messages that were going back and forth. Basically, what this article tries to do is kind of walk you through what the conversations are, what's going on at the time, and the progression of what these text messages were doing. But here's some initial ones between Volker and Sondland. Volker, excellent. How did you sway him? He says, not sure I did. I think POTUS really wants the deliverable. And then Volker, but does he know that? So as it goes on, these are conversations that were going on leading up to the phone call and a potential visit by Zelensky to the country. And these are various texts that were sent between these two guys and, of course, to some other people as well.
Provided without context, though.
Sure. Sure,
Right?
understandable,
I
right?
don't
But
like
that's
it.
and that. Hold
That's
on,
so dirty.
hold on.
Oh my god.
Now that's why I want you to understand that some of these texts give context within themselves. So we have to bear that in mind. If they are true actual texts, some of them are giving their own contextualization. Okay?
We'll see.
I'm not saying this is the smoking gun. I'm saying this is the smoking gun that one of the ones that the Democrats are going to hold on to. Here's one from Volker. Mr. Mayor, really enjoyed breakfast this morning. As discussed, connecting you here with Andrei Yermak, who is very close to President Zelensky. I suggest we schedule a call on Monday, blah, blah, blah. Then it says, can we three do a call tomorrow, say noon, Washington time? Looks like POTUS call tomorrow. This is supposed to be spoke directly to Zelensky and gave him a full briefing. He's got it. Sure. Good. Had breakfast with Rudy this morning, teeing up call with Yermak Monday. Must have helped. Most important is for Zelensky to say that he will help investigation and address any specific personal issues if there are any. Now, will help with investigation. The investigation is a little bit vague because there's two investigations we're talking about, right? Goes on, Gordon, one thing Kurt and I, now this is somebody, Taylor, one thing Kurt and I talked about yesterday was Sasha Dunyulik's point that President Zelensky is sensitive about Ukraine being taken seriously, not merely as an instrument in Washington domestic re-election politics. Absolutely, but we need to get the conversation started and the relationship built irrespective of the pretext. I am worried about the alternative. Volker orchestrated a great phone call with Rudy and Yermak. They are going to get together when Rudy goes to Madrid in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, Rudy is now advocating for a phone call. I have call into Fiona's replacement and will call Bolton if needed. But I can tell Bolton and you can tell Mick that Rudy agrees on a call if that helps. Sondland, I talked to Tim Morrison, Fiona's replacement. He is pushing, but feel free as well. So they're pushing for this phone call. They're wanting to make this phone call happen. Now, from what I understand, based off this article, they're talking about the phone call between Trump and Zelensky and trying to get that to happen. Good, Volker, good lunch. Thanks. Heard from White House. Assuming President Z convinces Trump he will investigate / get to the bottom of what happened in 2016, we will nail down date for visit to Washington. Good luck. See you tomorrow, Kurt. They're also trying to get Zelensky to come to Washington for a diplomatic moment, right? Phone call went well. This is from Yermak. President Trump proposed to choose any convenient dates. This is still talking about having Zelensky come to America. I'm going to move past that and get to... Okay, so now they're also talking about drafting a statement for Zelensky and Yermak for when they come here. So he's saying that Sondland says to avoid misunderstandings might be helpful to ask Andrei for a draft statement embargoed so that we can see exactly what they propose to cover. Even though Zelensky does a live presser, they can still summarize a brief statement. So they want to know what Zelensky is going to say in any press releases he's doing.
Okay, yeah, I mean, they can ask. I don't see what problem with them asking for that.
So here's interesting. Volker, hi, Mr. Mayor. Had a good chat with Yermak last night. He was pleased with your phone call. Mentioned Z, of course, being Zelensky, making a statement. Can we all get on the phone to make sure I advise Zelensky correctly as to what he should be saying? Want to make sure we get this done right. Thanks. Good idea, Kurt. I am on Pacific time. You can call me. So they want to make sure that Zelensky is saying the right things about what's going on with the investigation. I'm assuming this should still be talking about the 2016 investigation. Yermak, hi Kurt, please let me know when you can talk. I think it's possible to make this declaration and mention all these things, which we discussed yesterday, but it will be logic to do after we receive a confirmation of date, informed on the date of visit about our expectations and guarantees of future visit. Okay, it's late, why don't we talk in the morning? Let's iron out the statement and use that to get date, and then President Zelensky can go forward with it. Then they're talking about once we have a date, we'll call for a press briefing announcing upcoming visit and outlining vision for the reboot of U.S.-Ukraine relationship, including, among other things, Burisma and election meddling and investigation. Now, here's where Burisma is brought into the conversation by Yermak, agreeing that that is going to be part of the press release conversations that are put out into the press.
Right.
Okay.
So this all sounds like just regular, what are they? Not ambassadors, but what are they again?
They
Are they
are U.S.
ambassadors?
diplomats.
Diplomats.
Right.
Okay, yeah, basically almost the same thing, I guess. But yeah, I mean they're trying to prepare for press
Right.
releases and
Sure.
all this kind of stuff. I don't see anything damning so far.
We're still working.
Really?
We're still moving forward.
Oh God.
Yeah, there's still more here. Special attention should be paid to the problem of interference in the political processes of the United States, especially with the alleged involvement of some Ukrainian politicians. I want to declare that this is unacceptable. We intend to initiate and complete a transparent and unbiased investigation of all available facts and episodes, including those involving Burisma and the 2016 U.S. elections, which in turn will prevent the recurrence of this problem in the future. This is what Volker sent to Sondland, right? Now, do we still want Z to give us an unequivocal draft with 2016 and Burisma? That's the clear message so far. I'm hoping we can put something out there that causes him to respond with that. Sondland says, unless you think otherwise, I will return with Andre's call tomorrow and suggest a clean draft. Now, Yermak sends a message, right? Okay. On August 29th, need to talk with you. Trump holds up Ukraine military aid meant to confront Russia. Yermak sent this headline. Volker,
Yeah.
hi, Andre. Absolutely, when it's good for you. Suddenly here's Yermak upset that money's being held up, right? Taylor, well, that's what he put the headline there. Yermak is he's the advisor over in the Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm just saying it doesn't mean that he's necessarily upset by it. He's just saying, hey,
so
we got to deal with this.
Taylor sends a message. Trip canceled. Volker, hope V. POTUS keeps the bilat and tees up White House visit. And hope Gordon and Perry still going. I'm going. Pompeo is speaking to POTUS today, see if he can go. Are we now saying, now here's Taylor, are we now saying that security assistance and White House meeting are conditioned on investigations? Sondland, call me. Okay, so they take it away, take it off text, right? Gotcha.
Naturally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sondland, guys, multiple convos with Z, POTUS, let's talk. Taylor, now is fine with me. Volker, try again, could not hear, they try to call. Gordon and I just spoke, I can brief you. The nightmare is they give the interview and don't get the security assistance. The Russians love it, and I quit. This is from Taylor. Something about the conversation. Then Taylor sends, the message to the Ukrainians and Russians we send with the decision on security assistance is key. With the hold, we have already shaken their faith in us. Thus my nightmare scenario. Counting on you to be right about this interview, Gordon. Sondland, Bill, I never said I was right. I said we are where we are and believe we have identified the best pathway forward. Let's hope it works. Taylor, as I said on the phone, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign. Now, this last message, Sondland, I believe you are incorrect about President Trump's intentions. The president has been clear, no quid pro quos of any kind. The president is trying to evaluate whether Ukraine is truly going to adopt the transparency and reforms that President Zelensky promised during his campaign. I suggest we stop the back and forth by text. If you still have concerns, I recommend you give Lisa Kenna or a call to discuss them directly.
Yeah, it just sounds like their friendship kind of fell apart as time went on.
So,
but
even Taylor, whoever this Taylor person is, I'd have to go back up and re-verify Taylor, is concerned that they're holding up this assistance. Now, here's Sondland coming out and saying, no, I believe you're incorrect, but we need to stop on this back and forth by text, and you need to call somebody, you need to talk to somebody on the phone. These kind of things, these conversations that are going on by text, this is why, as you can see, the things that are mentioned very specifically between these people, conversation pointing to the allegations that the Democrats are making. There's no way they cannot hold this up as smoking guns, bring all these people in to depose them, and really use this as a strong foundation for making their case in this impeachment inquiry and proceedings. Would you not agree that they have enough to work with to really sink their teeth in on these?
No.
No?
No, this is nothing. Yeah, there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. The problem is that they present these texts without context, and then in between each little like segment of text, they have their own little oh, here's what we think the context is, or here's like the timeline or whatever.
Well,
but
okay.
No.
Well, so
no, there's nothing there.
My point is that there was at least one of these people was voicing concern that this looked like the money was being held up, waiting for confirmation from Zelensky that these investigations were going to go forward. That's what I'm saying. That's
when he was corrected.
Down at the bottom, yes, that last correction, yes, I understand that was put in there, but that doesn't mean what. So I guess what my point is even with the people that were inside on this, that this was going on with, people in that realm were concerned that was going on, which gives something more for the Democrats to sink their teeth into as they move forward with this inquiry. This is a little bit more damning than one would.
No, it's not damning whatsoever.
It
but
can
it
be
does
turned
give them. It gives them ammunition, but the thing is, the ammunition that they have are blanks. So that's all it is. I mean, there's no substance there. There's nothing there.
I understand what you're saying about lack of substance. My point is, this is going to be enough of a bone for the Democrats to chew on. This is going to give them momentum to move forward. This is going to cast enough doubt, potentially, to get the House to vote to agree to move past the inquiry, whether it goes to the Senate or not. But this kind of thing, pulling this up and presenting it, and pulling these people in and getting depositions to where they talk about this, that's going to give them the House, I think, because this can be turned into a smoking gun. It can be, whether it's decontextualized or whether it's exaggerated through deposition.
There are certainly a lot of people who will take it as it's presented by Politico or by whatever other rag picks it up and puts whatever spin they want on it. There are people who are going to believe that.
Right.
100%. People are stupid. People don't read for themselves. People don't think about it themselves.
Sure.
Absolutely. But when it comes to like whether or not Trump did something impeachable, there's nothing there. And if they impeach him, that's all that stuff's going to come up. And he's just going to be able to just dismiss it because there's nothing there, right? There's nothing damnable there. It's just normal, politics.
It is so even if he did try to use pressure to get them to investigate the Biden son and, subsequently Biden, you don't see that, like, if that's a move in regard to the campaign by involving another foreign power in the campaign, you don't see that as wrong. Versus, like, there are, again, two sides to every story. Everything has different spins, different takes. But the guy that Biden had the Ukraine oust, the prosecutor, at the time, the investigation into his son, anything that they had started was in limbo. It wasn't even being looked into or investigated at the time when he had this guy, when he used pressure to get this guy taken out of office in an attempt to clear up corruption in their government through force.
So when you're saying, is it right that this is done or not? Are you talking about morally or legally?
Well, I guess Well, I guess you have to ask it from both perspectives. Yes, your moral take on it is one thing.
Yeah, morally, I don't think it's right. I think you should be able to win on ideas.
But is it
legally?
legal? If he's
Yeah, I
trying
mean,
to get the election to be tampered with, if he's trying to get rid of an opponent,
he's not getting the election tampered with.
well, not
That's the
tampered. I
difference.
used the word. That's why I rephrase it to he's trying to
Yeah.
he's trying to smear an opponent with something
Right.
to affect the outcome of the campaign. So,
Yeah.
but he's
But
using a
so-
foreign power to do that.
If that was illegal, then I mean, the Democrats would have already been all
Right. I guess that's
all
what
been locked up.
That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to determine is the impeachment inquiry because this is actually something that would be considered illegal. If it does break campaign law, see this whole idea of, is it only campaign finance law that it has to break, or is there campaign law on how you can handle yourself in a campaign, what you can do? Because ultimately it when it comes down to it, our campaigns should not have any influence, input, or any kind of massaging from foreign powers. We don't need their help. We don't need their input. We don't need to have them involved with it at all. We don't need to take money. I believe it's illegal for campaigns to take foreign money, right?
It is.
If it's illegal to take foreign money, then taking foreign aid in any form, whether it be, helping smear your opponent to something less shitty, I would think that would be illegal too. That just seems like inherently illegal to me, or should be, because fuck everybody else. This is our election. These are our politicians. This is our government. Other governments shouldn't have a hand in that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that part. I mean, it's a dirty game, What are you gonna do? I mean, if you're not willing to stoop down to the level that that your opponents are going to, then you're gonna lose. So if you want to win, you have to stoop down to that level, and it's really unfortunate.
Well, but I'm always going to play the other side. What level is Trump willing to stoop to win an election? What is he willing?
He hasn't stooped quite as low as the Democrats have, so he's still got a ways to go before he reaches their level.
I would agree. Nothing's been proven. That is correct. I don't put it past him to take the easy road or use his connections to do something like that. I mean, I'm just saying. He's big on those. He's big on connections, loyalties.
Well, yeah,
using people.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's his worker bees. So I don't know. I would love to see the full text transcripts, like just the full text conversations that went on, so that we can see. Well, the phone calls are one thing, because I mean, not necessarily all of those are going to be transcribed, right? The ones that aren't involving the president,
they're recorded somewhere, I'm sure.
Well, not when Giuliani's getting on the phone with the Ukraine. Nobody's recording that.
No, but I mean, whatever. I was making the NSA spying on everyone joke.
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha.
Everyone's wiretapped at all times.
You should have been a little more. You should have pinpointed that.
It's been almost 2 hours. I'm already, past the point of
how many scotches? How many whiskeys?
No scotches. Oh,
whiskey.
whiskeys.
Yeah, how many whiskeys?
I believe I've had 3. I'm almost done with my 3rd one.
Yeah, they're quicker than beer, John. They're quicker than beer. All right, so, but that being the case, so again, I'm still on the fence. I'm not saying that this is damning. All I'm trying to point out is, again, all I was trying to say is there's enough in these texts for the Democrats to warp this into a smoking gun, to use it to their benefit. It's definitely going to get them. It definitely gets them depositions.
It's a crumbling handhold.
Well,
what it is.
They're
playing the hand they're dealt. One quick,
right? They're playing the hand they're dealt. What can you do, right? Yeah. He's not helping though when he goes out in public and he publicly asked China to go ahead and help investigate the Bidens too. That was hilarious to me that he had the balls to do that. Marco Rubio says that he was just doing that as a gig. He was just digging. He was just trying to get people to react by doing it.
He's the troll in chief, man.
Right?
He's a good
He
troll.
is. Mitt Romney, of course, it was funny. Mitt Romney came out and said that it was an appalling thing for the president to do. Why would you want these commie bastards helping with anything that has anything to do with our elections? You know, these kind of things. I'm like, wow. But yeah, so Rubio's onto his 4D chess. Do you think Rubio's got the game? Has he got game to go up against Trump? No, never mind.
No.
All right, and last but not least, John, what say you to the rumors that Midget? I have no idea. I can't say yes or no if there were if Biden committed crimes because I haven't seen enough evidence on either side. I mean, both sides say different things, just like with Trump.
I absolutely think it should be investigated, though.
Notice I haven't indicted anybody in any of these things.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying anybody's guilty. I'm not saying anybody's innocent. I'm just saying there's a lot of evidence or what can be taken as evidence in both of these investigations. There's a lot that can be taken. And every side's got their opinion on it. I'm still forming mine. That's all I can do. But if you want to assume what I think, please feel free. John, rumors that these silly rumors, a couple of minor rumors that the Hill might hit the campaign trail. Think it's real? Think she will?
The Hill Dog, the Hildebeest. No, I don't think she's going to do it. I've seen some of the rumors, but I don't think so. I mean, how many times can you get your ass kicked before you stop going to a place where they keep kicking your ass? You know what I mean? I don't know. Depends on how.
Well, she's only had her ass kicked once.
Twice against Obama as well.
Oh well, yeah. She didn't lose a presidential election on that one. She just lost a primary.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's like that's like getting knocked out in the playoffs.
Yeah, so
you didn't make it to the big.
She got her ass beat in the parking lot instead of inside the bar. Right?
She didn't make it. She didn't make it to the World Series. She got knocked out in the playoffs. This time she might have a chance to get to the big show, but I doubt it. But when it's all said and done, I don't know. Maybe she will. Maybe she won't. Who knows? Yeah, maybe she'll announce on Halloween, give us all a good scare. John.
That was actually pretty good. I like that.
So, John, if you could, those 2 days, there's two of them, 2 days coming up. Tell people what those 2 days are and what they mean to the children of the world.
That's right. Halloween night. We have from 9 p.m. to midnight. That's Eastern time. The best time zone of all. We have our 3-hour live stream for St. Jude's. We're going to be having a Halloween-themed show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. We're going to do some spooky stuff, like Ouija boards and EVP kind of stuff. We're also going to have our Freedom Scoop group, I believe, on as well.
We are trying to swing the scoop.
That's right. So we can raise some money for St. Jude's, like we did before. That was a ton of fun. And speaking of that, Friday, December 6th, we have our 12-hour live stream for Toys for Tots.
Tater tots.
So that we can hopefully give some toys to some needy kids who may not otherwise get any on Christmas. And so we're going to get our Freedom Scoop group back together, and for that. And some of the guests that we've had on before, we'll start reaching out to them probably in November. See who we can get on. So start expecting lists of people around then. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We probably have 2 debates. We're going to try and set up 2 debates at least. And it's going to be great.
It's debatable.
It is debatable.
We'll have a debate on whether or not we should have 1 or 2 debates.
There you go. So we'll have a third
that'll
debate.
Take care of one of the debates.
Right?
Yeah. All right, folks. Also, you can look for us in some places. John, I believe there's one of those birdie thing. What's that birdie thing?
Yes, you can find us. You can find us on Twitter at GenGapP. Oh my God. You can find our Discord server linked down below, and our Twitter's there. Also linked down below is freedomscoop.com, which is a site that we are on along with our other Freedom Scoop buddies, our compadres, if you will. Also, underneath that is the link to the merch store on freedomscoop.com.
Good merch in that merch store.
Yeah, well, there's one good shirt on there.
There's
And
actually,
it's,
John, I gotta be honest with you. I've seen
I was
more
trying
than
to
one.
shill our shit though.
No.
And not
That
everyone else's.
well, just that link. That link goes directly to our shirt, and then they can bounce on into the store if they want. But that's like the greeter shirt, right? That's the when they go follow that link. But there are there's some other good shirts on there. I'm just saying they're there.
Yeah, so after
I
you
didn't
buy
put
our
them there,
shirt,
but they're there.
Feel free after you buy our shirt. Feel free to buy other ones from freedomscoop.com.
Right, you can't actually if you can't access freedomscoop.com without buying the shirt first. But we do have a code down below in the description, Gin Gap. If you enter that in your cart, you'll get 15% off the T-shirt and admission to Freedom Scoop.
Right. Yes. We can see all kinds of other content creators and articles, things like that are written.
And you can wear the thumbs proudly. Wear the thumbs proudly. Oh, they're not thumbs. What was that? Jake and his wife had a conversation about our logo. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
she's like, what are those, pipes or bongs? He's like, no, they're G's. And she's like, they're shooting birds. She's like, but G's don't have fingers.
Yeah, they don't have bongs either. Yeah.
And he's like, they don't have bongs. And she's like, oh, geez, dude. Yeah. Touche.
Yeah, that was
nice conversation, man. You gotta love those conversations with your wife or someone else's wife. I don't know how you roll, folks. Hey, if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We like the likes. We like the subscribe. Share what you know about us. Share it with your friends, your family, your congressman, and go ahead and make sure and look for us on Monday night. We're going to be back again at our regular time at 9 o'clock for Shooting the Shit. And then we'll roll back through next Friday for our regular episode, which will be coming back at you again at 8:30, just like we normally do, for another 2-hour drinking session with John. And outside of that, I don't know, John. No telling what kind of crazy shit's going to happen in the next few days. It's all just going to be madness. All right, so folks, we're going to get the hell out of here. We appreciate every one of you showing up and talking to us, no matter how triggered you get by my beautiful dialogue. And we will be looking for you again on the next time around. Till then, have a good night. Peace out. John, see you soon.
Yep, see you guys.